Okay, so today is going to be my first time playing since this expansion came out, and of course it kind of falls on an awkward day for me. I guess I should remember this now because it's probably the same every time. So the last Monday that I play is always the last day basically before the new expansion comes out. So I only play on Monday, so last Monday I saw that like, oh, it's like 20 hours left or something before the expansion comes out. But that means that I would have played like the latest possible since it came out, like a week in or like 6 days into the expansion, rather than like if it was that exact day, then it would be the first day I get to play it on. So it's a little bit inconvenient there. Not that it really matters, but I am going to do a 10K draft, and thankfully I do have the gold reserve despite my desire to always buy these fucking cosmetics, despite it being a free-to-play whatever first playthrough that we're doing here. Just I somehow managed to still buy those, but I do have enough to do at least one. I maybe almost have enough to do two, but I typically just do one 10K draft at the beginning just to first of all get some of the cards because you get to keep them, so that's always fun. And you know, just to try out the thing, and it's kind of fresh and fun that way. And best of all, it's like, oh, it gives you a chance, because if everybody metagames like crazy, and of course I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't even know a lot of the old cards or whatever, but it gives you a chance to kind of like, oh, I'm going in kind of blind, but so is everyone else sort of, but then again, they're not really, because they've probably been looking stuff up and they know everything like the back of their hand already, and they've been playing for potentially those 6 days. So even if it wasn't like that, where people didn't take it super seriously, I've wasted too much time in the process. Now I do love the fact of those ones that let you play like only 3 games, so play 3 games regardless of record, and it's still a 10K draft. So that kind of suits a casual like me at this stage, where like I only play, you know, for such a short amount of time. That kind of suits me better. If they didn't have a mode like that, I can't complain, because again, that's only there for casual people, and I can understand it. But it, you know, that means that whatever happens is going to be a sense of finality very quickly, and every game is super meaningful. So I do prefer that. In fact, that's basically what I've done in the last few expansions, and this is really only my 4th one ever. So even though I say like, oh, I do one every expansion, that's only been a recent development. This one actually looks kind of cool, but would I spend 12K on it? These are like very elaborate structures. I like the theme to these, although they all look kind of a little bit too similar. Really, for fucking 12K gold though? I spent like 5K on something, but this is kind of a good idea to give you a sense of what this expansion is all about. And in fact, the name of it I kind of clowned a bit, because in the end of 2022 they had Murder at Castle Nathria from Hearthstone. So does that mean that maybe this was some set that was already in Magic in real life, but like they copied the namesake and the subject matter of this expansion from Hearthstone, as much as Hearthstone copied Magic all the way? Is that really what has come full circle? So instead of Murder at Castle Nathria, it's Murder at Karlov Manor. That's so weird that would be a consideration. So what is this exactly? Murders at Karlov Manor Mastery Ascent. It could be that this is something that's already established in the Magic universe, and it was like a real life expansion at some point before, and so it's been out for a long time. And it's just the fact that the name is so similar is kind of a little bit weird to me. So somebody copied somebody shamelessly, and it could be that Hearthstone somehow did it, and it's just maybe new to this expansion, but I would have at least made the name a little bit different. I don't know. And of course, the lore behind the Castle Nathria, I have no idea what it is. Like, that's obviously like some raid in WoW too, Denathrius and all these kind of characters, right? That must have been some content in the game itself. I don't think it's just something they made up just for the expansion alone. Island travel. What do these have to do with the current expansion though? Wait, why are these like... Huh. I don't know. Yeah, so none of this stuff is particularly notable. I kind of got all like the dinosaur cosmetics that I would have wanted last time, so... You know, we have like a card back that has the pterodactyl on it. We have the Yes Hat little... we should look at the mastery tree thing too. But no, we are a dinosaur ourselves. We have a card sleeve that represents the dinosaurs here too. Just because that's my favorite archetype, and everything in this game, I've mostly just played dinosaurs the whole time. But the one thing that I don't have is a companion, and I maybe had a chance at the beginning of last expansion to get it, where you could buy it outright, or maybe not. Maybe you could only ever get it in the mastery track thing. So let's see. I almost hope there isn't one that I have to get that I really feel like is worth getting, because as much as I've been pretty good about getting to rank 35 the last couple expansions to get both the Tim Burton card back and the Gishath, I don't know that it really so it's a sleeve. I don't know that I really want to care about it right now. And as much as I love green and almost exclusively play that, sometimes the green cosmetics actually aren't all that good. Is that what that would mean? Like if you start 1, 2, 3, 4, I assume that would be like level 35. I'm not really too impressed with any of these, so I don't really care. Like if I had to get one, I would get her, which I'm not too crazy about. That looks kind of okay. That looks kind of silly. That looks like garbage. Like, how can green be the worst? This looks almost too casual. This looks, she's trying too hard. This looks kind of cool, I guess. Judith. But I don't really think of that as fire. I think of that more as, I haven't been this perturbed by a Judith since Alan's wife in 2.5 Men. Fucking... She played the bitch type of character so well, though, whoever that actress is. Cast 20 white or red spells. Blue or red. Oh yeah, the one thing I haven't really decided for this is like what color am I going to go in with, right? Like I'll just go with whatever, but it almost forces you to kind of play a little rainbow style. The idea that, yeah, what is happening in the Magic storyline? Why don't you tell me? Because I don't know anything about it really. It'll open up like a fucking web browser. So we looked at that. The mastery tree isn't that impressive to me. Turn it into like a detective game. Trying to have some suspects. If only that was actually like a gameplay mechanic. We have such a good history with detective kind of games. I'm just such a big fan of them, and you know, had some great moments. The Phoenix Wright series, and it's kind of sad that whenever I played the Phoenix Wright game since I came back on this channel, they haven't really been that popular. But for some reason, I played Danganronpa that one time, and that accounts for some of my most viewed clips on this channel. Like, you know, I don't always play Danganronpa, but when I do, I only play the first case, and from that first case alone, I get like 5 of my 10 most viewed clips, period. Just because, whatever, it must be that the game is popular, but still, it's a happy marriage of like, you really getting immersed and committing to it and playing in a certain, you know, honest way that's kind of like the same way I would have played the Ace Attorney game, so it's at least like a good karmic moment to show that. Let me actually look at this. Murder at Karlov Manor. Kaya returns to Ravincia just in time for a grand celebration, but not everyone will be leaving the manor alive. That's it? That's the story? Magic story. Episode 1. Like, again, all this stuff, I don't know if I should show this or what. All this stuff sort of deserves a game. I don't know. It's so weird. It deserves some kind of game or MMO. I always say this to kind of represent all the lore beyond just simply showing it in a card game, because there is a lot of lore to Magic, obviously, historically. There's some sort of overlap with Dungeons and Dragons at times, I feel like, that people always talk about, but generally speaking, there is no real other way to experience the lore besides doing this. Let me actually show this just for the fuck of it. I normally don't pay attention to all this kind of stuff, but Murders at Karlov Manor, episode 1, like, look at how much they put into this, but Ghosts of Our Past, Monsters We Became, Shadows of Regret, Justice Before Mercy, Pains of Expectation. And maybe each of these episodes is to represent like one color. Like this is white, this is red, this is blue, this is blue. I don't fucking know, probably not. This is green, this is blue, this is black. Kaya returns to Ravincia. Okay, that's the same thing. With the help of a brilliant detective, the killer is discovered. But catching, yeah, turn this into an Among Us kind of fucking game mode over here. You know how everybody loves that. I like how much I exposed that aspect. This was a good psychology analysis moment, like where those same streamers who did, it's like a reality TV show for them, right? When that was such a fad, Among Us. There wasn't any major update to Among Us around the time that it became popular on Twitch. And there wasn't even the sense that those same people who were playing it then had done it before when it had been out for a couple years. So it was simply done strictly because, oh, it was like a fad where one person did it and it got a lot of views or something. So then everybody did it for a period of time while it got views. And then as soon as it stopped getting views or whatever, then they move on and don't do it anymore. So that shows you like the most base level, inauthentic clout chasing, content hungry, fiending kind of thing, because again, it's not saying whether you should or shouldn't do it. It had been out before, so why didn't you play it before? It's a good game, you know, like Town of Salem, whatever you want to call it. These can be great games, but no, they wouldn't have done it before. They had no interest in it. They might have even mocked it or whatever, and then all of a sudden they started to do it. Same thing with GTA RP. It's not a question of whether you should do it or not. It's a question of if you genuinely had interest in that, you would have done it in the first place all along to begin with, or you would have kept doing it then for a long time. But it becomes a very disposable one-off sort of thing where it's just a fad and then you move on, and it's inauthentic. So that was an interesting thing that this just made me think of. But catching this dangerous individual is an entirely different matter. Shadows of Regret. The killer strikes again. Meanwhile, Detective Alquist Croft conducts an interview. I mean, let me play through this. I'll fucking get all aviary attorney. Better than Phoenix Wright, by the way, because it actually had like branching paths and some kind of a investigation like limit system. Like you get to choose which place to investigate out of a pool, and you can miss certain stuff or whatever. Kaya questions relevant parties and receives a new partner. Croft and Etrata retrace their steps and find danger on their trail. Meanwhile, Kaya and Kellen pay a visit to Vitu Ghazi. I could do like a little ASMR fucking reading session on those if I had the time. But no, I'm kind of saddened by that aspect. Like, of all the universes that sort of squeeze out and profiteer on different things to try to, you know, whatever, make too many games, like let's make a MOBA out of this, or let's make every genre game out of Magic, the one legitimate thing would be either a single player game that's super exhaustive of the lore, where it's not a card game but it takes place in this universe. I always look for that, and I'm always like, let me look up once more. I'm genuinely just so surprised by that. Magic the Gathering video game, MMO, anything like that, right? Not a card game. Something like the original Magic the Gathering game, Arena, or even that's something I would have to play. I would have to play a game that is more like the real game or more like the old school game, in the context of, you know, seeing what the oldest cards and formats and things like that are like. And it would be great to do that online, but you might have to do it manually in some sort of fan base sort of thing. I almost don't even want to do the draft now because of how much I'm just doing such a long intro. But no, I want to see like what the oldest formats look like. I want to see what all the cards look like in the whole history of the game, which this game does not have all of them. I want to kind of slow pace and backtrack through all of them, you know, one expansion at a time. I could do kind of like a whole series based on that, but it would be more fun if you did it against other real people instead of just played it in like all the form of maybe these older school games. But that is such a missed opportunity project. MMO shuts down without leaving beta. MMO action RPG set in Magic the Gathering. Because, again, you could say it's like a theme park type of thing. Like, oh, just take the same generic MMO design model from every other game out there and just turn it into, you know, window dressing with Magic the Gathering universe elements. But that's still fine because traditional sealed, I think it's that one. It even says 3 on there. Okay, this is 7. I'm hoping that you can do this here. 10k, but again, we wouldn't have time to play that many games regardless. 10k for 3 wins. Traditional draft versus wait, what was the other one? Traditional draft, traditional sealed. Yeah, what is even the difference? Okay, the difference is I can't do it with that currency, so we don't have a choice but to do this. So we got select 1 card at a time, rotating draft picks. The cards will be added to your collection. You'll use them plus basic lands. Build a 40 card deck, play best of 3 matches, receive prizes. Oh yeah, I forget that they're best of 3s. So in the end, it ends up probably taking just as long. I keep bloviating about how, oh, you know, it's only 3 games, so you'll have time to do it. But it could end up taking longer because you can end up playing 9 games, right? You'll win 1, lose 1, then see who wins, win 1, lose 1 for each set. So you end up playing 9 games instead of potentially 7 games, or it's the same amount because. But I do like the whole best of 3 thing against 1 player. It helps to balance out the RNG, and it can be kind of an intense match. But the point is, it's like what do you call it? You'd be playing 7 games until you lose 3, right? You're trying to win 7. So the max number of games you could play is 9, because you could go like 7-2 or whatever, 6-3. And so here it's the same thing. You're gonna play a set of 3 regardless. We get to show off our sexy little raptor thing that we got, which this was ironic because I was even playing as the rainbow dinosaurs at the time. I didn't know this was the same guy, Gishath, that I was using. So I was trying to just mix up some variety because I got sick of just using green dinosaurs all the time. I was just using them of all colors, but I thought, just looking at him, you would think he's just a red dinosaur, but obviously that may as well just be a dragon, right? Dinosaurs are wingless dragons. We kept making that joke. Even though I like dinosaurs more than dragons, at least in the context of this game. Dinosaurs are just wingless birds even, right? Or they're literally birds if you take it on a certain level. I always feel bad for like taking too long in these drafts, because even as I'm taking a while there, I feel like, oh, other people are sitting there and wasting time, and these could be bots for all you know. And it has nothing really to do with, okay, we have to decide on the color though. I kind of want to do red actually, at least as one of our things. When it enters the battlefield, choose one, destroy target artifact. Like, I don't know, I don't actually look at this properly ever, but double strike, trample, disguise. It's a sick, like, I'll do it for the new, you know, that was always a format that people would do in Hearthstone, right? Like, you have to pick one of the new cards if you're offered them out of the set of 3. Of course, this is way more complex because there's a lot more in there than just 3. Enters the battlefield up to +2/+0. I'll just do that. Waiting for them to pass a draft pack. I would love to see this visualized in a real life setting. I could just look it up on YouTube. Like, maybe I won't do it. Yeah, I could do it next time. I wonder how that works. Like, if I leave this draft hanging, will the format reset by next time? I honestly don't even really feel like it. That'd be hilarious. Like, I would just do, I did that before too though, then that pissed me off. I'll do the draft today and then I'll actually play the games next time, but the problem is then it'll reset and the draft will end, so I would have missed out on my chance. When I enter the battlefield, you may sacrifice an artifact. Okay, I don't know if I can justify doing that, or I guess just for the pure value. It doesn't mean I have to only do red. Can't be countered. Creature gets -X/-X. Not bad. 4 mana. Whenever one or more creature cards in your graveyard, it gets +1/+0. Leave your graveyard. Okay, we'll do that so we can do like black and red over here. Additional cost to cast a sacrifice an artifact or discard a card. Draw 2 cards. Not really worth it. See, some of these decisions are basically made for you to the extent that disguise, tapped, okay, fine. Again, we'll figure out what they do in the course of the play. It's not like I know any better as far as what I'm doing, so again, I wouldn't even know necessarily if these are all new cards, because if some of them aren't, I wouldn't know, because I'm always playing in historic, so everything seems kind of the same to me. But no, it's so fun to go. I kind of did that almost with Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit. Like, I hate the synchro mechanic and I never really used it, so I went back and like, oh, I'm going to use the first synchro monsters ever released like 15 years ago or something, to kind of work my way forward from there to actually appreciate the whole history and lineage of it, compared to, you know, simply playing as the new ones that are all power creeped out and stuff like that. This includes the ward ability. This seems like a constant theme here of the whole can't be countered thing. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap it, it gains haste. Suspect it. Gain control. Has menace and can't block. Interesting. They copied both Hearthstone and Town of Salem and Among Us. Haha. Fuck. I do like the subject matter of this kind of expansion though. That is so bizarre though, that the name is like on the nose of that. Look at what fucking picture we got for a deck box here too, of all things. Yeah, that would be so silly if I did that. You spend 10k gold and at least I get to keep the cards, but I don't even get to fucking play the draft out. I'm not going to do that. Obviously, I'll just do it this time. Now, how does this make sense to have 2 in the same thing? Menace, whenever another creature with 2 or less enters the battlefield, surveil 1. I mean, it is only a 1 cost thing. When it enters the battlefield, investigate. Whenever you sacrifice a clue. I mean, this could be fun, and it could be almost like a win condition type of card, but I don't know how many clues and things like that I'm going to get. I don't care about getting lands there. But there's nothing really that you can do. Sacrifice it, search your library for basic card, put it on the battlefield tab, then shuffle. Target creature with 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. This is a perfectly representative of what I'm doing with the red and black combo, which I kind of just decided on a whim. When it enters the battlefield, suspect up to 1 target you control. Sacrifice it. Gets -5/-5. Sacrifice another creature, draw a card. I don't really care too much about card draw. Yeah, even in drafts, I'll often do green. But no, I think I have a history of always trying to do black in drafts just because I like it aesthetically and everything, but I don't always get a chance to do it in constructed, or I just don't have enough cards to do it or something. +2/+0 gains haste. Kind of boring, though. Discards 2 cards. That's actually good. This is a classic kind of card that there's so many other ones that do the same thing. Or maybe it is the same card and I just don't realize it. Add 1 mana of any color. Activate only once each turn. Exile it from your graveyard. Oh shit. I could do that just for the 1 mana of any color aspect. Destroy target creature. Choose 1 or both. Put a +1/+1 counter on suspected creature. Some of these mechanics are just going to be contrived unless you really have a proper synergy for them. But I try to stay within the color theme here, and it's really hard to do that sometimes. Enters the battlefield, deals 3 damage to target creature opponent controls. Whenever 1 or more minions die, mill a card and put a bloodstained counter. Then sacrifice it as 5 or more. When you do, return target creature from graveyard to your hand. I mean, that's a lot of work put into that, but I guess I'll still do it. The longer the card text, the better the card must be, but it doesn't mean you're going to be able to actually take advantage of it here. You do the orangutan, we could do this one again, I guess, is fine. Or yeah, that's like the subliminal incentive I was talking about psychologically. Like how it would incentivize you to take like, oh, I'm going to take the card that I think is cooler that I want to add to my collection, because you do get to keep these, not the one that I think is going to be best in this particular deck or this particular draft, right, for synergies. I'm just going to take all the best cards, period, even if they don't work well together. You're going to do it just like a top-heavy fucking, like one of these top-heavy NBA teams that they keep putting together. Like, let's just put 3 stars together who each average 30 points, and it's never going to work, like the Nets or the fucking Suns or something. But just because, oh, you know, it's just talent galore, so that means you're winning. Red herring attacks each combat if available, which itself, that's a horrible effect to deal with, but I'll still do it. Like, really, dude? Red herring, get it? Fuck. Flying can just win you games in Arena, I will say. How coronavirus started. Exile create 2 1/1 tokens with flying. Flying, when it enters the battlefield, you lose 3 lives. Disguise. Okay, I probably prefer this one, because sometimes people just can't deal with it, so you can just win from the raw damage of the flying effect. 5 costs 3 less to cast if you sacrifice an artifact this turn. I think that's unlikely to happen, but there's nothing else I can really get. Surveil 1. It's not like I have to use all of these even, but it's good. Sacrifice another creature, draw a card. If the sacrificed creature was suspected, I don't know about that. When it dies, deal 2 damage to any target. Some of these statings are just not particularly good. Right, I'm all about just like raw stat value, which arguably is pretty good in draft arena type purposes, because you're not going to rely on synergies as much. Person of Interest, written by Jonathan Nolan. Enters the battlefield, created 2/2. It was pretty good for what I saw of it. Like, I saw the first maybe 10 episodes or maybe the first season, but it does feel like any series like that is going to get less interesting the longer it goes, because they just have to keep coming up with bullshit contrived reasons to keep it going. Some of this I'm doing just purely based on the color aspect of it. Whenever it attacks, if it's not suspected, you may suspect it. Has menace and can't block. It's kind of a good trade-off. I mean, you can do the little orangutan dude again. Or yeah, that was one of my interesting ideas. PETA's distracted by fucking Power World, so we can get away with doing this now, like an animal battle royale type of thing. Like I play as an alligator and you play as a elephant, and we fight each other and see who wins, and you have like your base mechanics and, you know, 3 or 4 different abilities like you would have in an Overwatch style game or something like that. It seems maybe silly, but I like the idea because it's so cool to see all these different, you'd have so much stuff to work with, basically, is the point. Instead of like a shooter game, it's actually like a, you know, I have like a claw slash ability and you have like a tusk charge, and it just seems like actually a very interesting idea for a game. Menace, when it enters the battlefield, create 2/1/1 white dog tokens. That's even a greater subliminal incentive. You just want to pick it because it's a cute little doggy instead that you want to add to your collection too. This is good, this is good. I almost want to get something I don't have though. Destroy target creature for 3. The problem with this is the land is going to be, or I'll just do that for the flying, but it's not strong enough is the problem. I've become the very thing I swore to destroy with the flying effect, because I always just hate that and how unmitigatable it basically is. At least for me, because I never have any in it myself, which is kind of one of the weaknesses of green, but green has more so answers for it. It'll have like removal for it, or it'll have reach, but it won't really have flying itself. But when it does, it's like one of the best flying cards in the game, the 7/7 dragon, that's like gives you a D20 that buffs you by +20/+20 to like 2 different things or something. So there's nothing you can use. You could do the orangutan. This is going to be my fucking ace in the hole. Destroy up to 1 artifact or sacrifice an artifact. It's not a bad card. I mean, maybe people are going to have a lot of those in here. I don't know. And then this is going to be the Shady Informant. You know, I feel like I've almost never seen 2 of the same cards in the same pick in a history of doing drafts. That is actually a bit unusual. Sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards. I don't really care too much about that. Like you'll see the same cards in different picks, which means maybe there's more than one available, but it's very rare that you see that, and I've seen it multiple times. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact, let's just do this one. That should also be a rule too. Like number 1, you have to pick only new cards. Number 2, you have to pick only 1 color. And number 3, you cannot pick 2 of the same card. Those could be all different rules to kind of just make it interesting. 2 mana, 2/2. But again, I'm kind of taking for granted that I'm going to have enough of each color, which I probably won't. That one's okay. +3/+0. I guess I'll do it. Yeah, people do come up with really elaborate shit in the course of some of these drafts that I see, where it is just kind of insane. Like, I don't know, they actually have synergies, they actually have win conditions, like people actually know what they're doing. Which again, even if you're going to metagame it to the extent like you'll have an add-on that tells you what to take in every situation, you don't really even know the synergies that you're going to get because you don't know what you're going to get offered. But still, whenever it attacks, that's certainly not, I'm not thinking about anything besides just the immediate thing. Like I just want the orangutans, fuck it. Like literally have more than you could have legally in your deck normally. That's the whole fun of this mode. This is going to be good. I mean, I like it because of the removal. That could be the swing in the game if you just have like 3 or 4 of those. This is good. This is the Shady Informant, but it's so expensive, man. I don't really want the card draw. We did do one thing where we got every single thing as a proper color, except for like one, the airtight alibi. Yeah, so we did pretty well that way. I love that it would have 2 forests in there for the 1 fucking green card that you have. Or this one I don't even remember taking. I must have misclicked it. When did I do that? Huh. It looks pretty cool, but escape tunnel. Okay, so we have 7 of those, 7 of those. That's probably adequate, and then we just have to, let me get rid of anything that's gonna be a 2, just for the pure variety of it, I guess. Even though some of this arguably you would want, probably. Why did I think I had 3 of those, actually? I mean, that pretty much solves the problem right there, so we don't have to get rid of anything. We can just fucking do it like that. I'm actually fine with it. See, I'm too lazy with this, even though I'm spending the precious 10k that I would have gotten, and even whatever you do here isn't going to help you because it'll give you gems instead, and then I'll end up saving that for a 3400 fucking thing to buy the mastery track pass for some expansion later on, because there are usually some pretty cool cosmetics here. But again, 3400 is an insane amount that I probably earned only over the course of this entire run. And I should have had that saved up for last expansion if ever I was going to do it, because I could have actually gotten like the dinosaur pet because of it. Welcome bundle, one-time deal, 5 packs and 2500 gems, which you have to spend like real money for, I think. Oh shit, would that have shown some doxing information? Let me actually show it again to be sure. Not like anybody's fucking watching right now anyway. What would it show though? Because I've never bought anything in this game before anyway, so it couldn't show anything. Right, like what? Card number, PayPal. It just shows my username, tag, zip code. Yeah, this even proves it's a free-to-play account, right? Otherwise it would have that shit saved somehow. But yeah, we've never bought anything like that of any kind. I've never really used this art as a thumbnail for Magic because you really wouldn't associate it with Magic enough. At least like the Lich King one for Hearthstone is like pretty distinct. But no, I could, there's totally like a meme in this whole thing, like of look how overwhelmed and exhausted I am from that draft, because it's like, wow, my brain is overloaded by the fact that I have more than 3 options. Casual, shitty fucking Hearthstone player comes in and expects it to be the same, where you only have 3 choices at a time in an arena draft and you can barely handle those, but now you do it like this. So what was the one? It must be this one, or it's not. Why wouldn't it just show me the same thing that I was just doing, dude? Okay, so 3 games. We'll go ahead and just do it. So nothing actually excited me too much there that I would have added to my collection now that I think about it. Not like the fucking dinosaur one where we got like Galta and all these kind of legendaries and stuff. So maybe I should have played into the incentive a little bit more of the incentive of basically being able to already getting synergies, dude. Fucking whatever. The incentive of like, I don't know, of picking stuff for that reason. Enters the battlefield, suspect up to 1 target creature you control, which is going to be, it has menace and it can't block, which I guess that's fine. I don't know how big of a deal menace is going to be though. At some point they're just going to have more than 2 things out there, so it's not going to be that big of a deal to do this. Disguise, double strike, ward. Wait, where is it saying ward though? You may, oh, that's what the disguise mechanic is. You may cast a card face down for 3 as a 2/2 creatures with ward 2. Turn it face up at any time for its disguise cost. How about we just play it normally? Like, what the fuck? Okay, so he can't block with it. That's one thing at least that we know. Again, it would be so much easier just with flying. Equipped creature gets +3/+0, disguise for 3. When it's turned face up, attached to a creature you control. I mean, why wouldn't you just do it normally? I don't get it. We're trying to pretend like role play as a Yu-Gi-Oh player. You triggered my trap card. Face down card. That is a pretty major mechanical thing though. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need a lot more with that. Okay, to 2/2, so the menace thing is still going to come into play. We could try to equip this at some point. Again, equip it, pay equip cards, so I catch it. Blah, 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 I can't read. Yeah, why would you go through the trouble of that aside from doing it as a 2/2? I don't know whether that's worth it or not. Like, I'll just keep going face. Who cares? Like, if I pop the face down card, then what ends up happening? Becomes a target of a spell or ability opponent controls. Okay. Okay, now it sort of revealed itself. And the Dryas created 2/2. So if I had traded into it there, I don't know what would have happened. We still can't do this guy. Can't be countered. Yes, -X/-X. Which you could use just to kind of kill anything. Right, until end of turn, but it doesn't matter. Whenever another creature power 2 less enters the battlefield, +1 this turn. I don't really care. Can't block, menace. And I don't care even if he blocks the 2/2. He's letting himself get awfully low. I do like all this little sneak damage you can get in here because of it. He's not going to out-damage me, so I don't get it. He's just dead. You really going to let this happen, or he has some instant quick play spell that he can do something about? Or he has a finisher. Each player who controls the most creatures investigate, then destroy all creatures. But wait a second, we both control the same amount. Sacrifice this, draw a card. Okay. I guess he was generally just desperate, though. He didn't have like a great answer here. Can I finally fucking do this or not? Jesus Christ. Double strike, trample. Again, not really worth it for its immense cost. I guess you probably should have played it the other way. What if we just when enters the battlefield, deals 3 damage to a thing creature controls, opponent controls. You could do like this and this and this, hypothetically, just to, I don't know what's going on. And you'll do this, and then you give it double strike. And then if you do this, you could kill him, potentially. Look at this crazy one OTK combo on a shitty turn like this. But we'll get double strike because... Come on, you're not going to have an answer for this when you only have 1 fucking mana left. I don't care about that effect. Just go for it. We get the double strike. Come on, surely you can't. Surely... Oh my... Bro. Why is it so hard, man? I feel like I'm playing 1500 lower rated chess where everybody's a tryhard, and I guess the real red herring was my thought that I would win there. But this can be kind of fun because what ends up happening is you sort of put yourself in a position where, you know, you kind of have to make the best of what you have. So it's not always going to be synergy based. You end up in either a top deck mode or some sort of intense back and forth where you're playing stuff suboptimally and you just kind of have to deal with it. And that's almost more my style of play, right? You're playing it for just raw value rather than... Okay, that still ends up just doing it for a trade, but maybe I shouldn't have bothered doing it. He's kind of strapped for plays too, but so am I. I can destroy a creature at least. So that's one good thing. Griff not tracker. Flying too, which makes it very difficult for me to survive this. Flying 1/3. This will at least be good enough. I mean, this equip thing has actually given me tremendous value. Just because you can keep using it over and over like this. Somehow I've never really used equip cards much, so I didn't realize how recyclable they actually are. Like when something dies that was using it, it should just go with them, I guess. This was that like anniversary card back. We're almost gonna deck ourselves out with how fucking long this is taking. Less cancer if you sacrifice an artifact. Can't be countered, deals 4 damage to target creature. So that would be When it enters the battlefield, search your library card, reveal it, and shuffle it. Sacrifice your opponent. Can't cast non-creature spells this turn. Enters the battlefield. I don't know. It's basically the same thing. Or arguably... Arguably, you could have done it the other way just so that you don't have to block with this, but you kind of still have to do it anyway. I just have to get one of my higher cost cards here, but I haven't really taken advantage of that effect much. Two, I'm just gonna go for it at this point. I'm getting kind of impatient. So if he can't deal with it this turn, I just lose the game. Or if he can kill me, obviously. Okay. Imagine losing to that, bro. Like, I got so close to winning early, and then I just kind of got pissed. And of course, we're not allowed to sideboard. That's just not something I do. Kind of like a hard mode challenge format to this. That was a very winnable game, but... Again, you could have said, oh, well, just don't do that and keep waiting and blocking forever, which might have actually been fine. But I was kind of more in top deck mode than him, so at least it justifies going sort of berserk and trying to just go for the kill a little more. So, this guy is always playing. Or maybe he just plays it exactly the same time I do, so how could I be the judge when I only play it once a week? I can't assume like, oh, he's always playing just because my window of playing myself is so short. Our curve is actually pretty low. I don't mind it on that basis. Human shaman, but that's a contradiction. Humans can't become shamans like in the Warcraft universe. Haha. It was antithetical to that. Just become a fucking paladin instead. I love how some universes get dislikes more than anything else, or some things that you upload. Like if you upload a fucking... Oh, I can't do it. Yeah, maybe I should be using that effect a little more. Kind of, you know, like the core effect of the fucking... of the game, like being able to put them down as a 2/2 and all that. Reckless detective, more like me when I'm playing LA Noire and I fall off the fucking chandelier like a goddamn clown, doing a little acrobatic act on the tightrope. Land's not going to do anything. You only have 3 that you can use. Let's go ahead and use the MVP card here just to keep using it over and over. Now, if he wants to trade it in, it's fine with me because you still get the ability to basically... Okay, what is the effect on this? Sacrifice a target creature 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. I mean, you can win just with the menace effects here if... You know, so many things are going to keep giving you that. Lost to bootleg Sherlock Holmes over here. But that's literally me. That's my job. Yeah, it is kind of window dressing. Like, oh, play 3 games regardless of record. But it doesn't mean that it's actually going to go like that because... You know, it's just... It's just a case where you basically are able to... What do you call it? It'll end up being like the same number of games, effectively. We're literally going to win because of some deck out condition rather than all this shit. Just how long these games seem to go on for. Music is all nice and mysterious. The music in this game is actually very nice for a card game because it's kind of subtle and just whatever. We probably are going to lose. I don't know if I can keep up with these values and just The first guy didn't have like any super strong synergy. Well, the first guy was the same guy. The first game though, he didn't have any like super strong synergies or anything, but now what I like about this is maybe you can win just because of the pure flying effect. Or even this you will be able to block now. 2 or more creatures. You can take advantage of just flying overall and just win with that. Assuming that I can actually block these things and survive for long enough to be able to do that. He might just not have an answer. But 2 or less can be blocked. Come on, let's at least go to a 3rd game match over here. Yeah, there are a lot of good formats in this game, not the least of which is the best of 3 overall. Not even this version of the best of 3, but am I really gonna just kind of have it this easily though? Like, there's nothing I can really do. Discard a card, draw 2 cards. What if we just do this? Put it on the battlefield tab so it doesn't even actually help me though. Create a 2/2 white and blue token. I might have to just save that to block with the flying one over here. Damn, this guy didn't really seem all that intimidating. This game went a little bit better for him, but that first game was so winnable, it was kind of a joke. Yeah, that seems kind of like a waste because I didn't need to block both quite like that, but whenever it attacks, based on spells. Yeah, I gotta kind of use these mechanics a little more, I guess, but now you just won't be able to survive because you can't actually fucking block the flying one. You know, like, I don't like to concede, but I also don't like to wait through this shit. You should never play your hand like that and let them know that the game is actually over. Because, fuck, I really should have won the first game, though. Or I should have at least played it out. Because I even said, like, oh, I'm just making this play because I got pissed at how long this would take me to finish this clown off, but okay, fine. So it wasn't as one-sided as that 2-0 score would maybe make it seem. Although that second game was a little bit more difficult, to be sure. And I didn't even choose red because, oh, it's like a daily quest or something like that. You have a mythic card waiting in reserve. I guess you know what we should look through actually is some of the, or you know what, let's save it for next time. We can do a whole expose on everything in the game next episode. Like to see like what dinosaurs did they add during this. I didn't really notice any really that cool in the course of this game, this draft, I mean. Yeah, nothing really stood out to me as being too exciting or that like I really wanted to add to my collection. But I guess I don't really ever take the time to really read everything in there because you can't really read every card in the amount of time that it gives you. Or I feel bad like I'm making people wait even though those people aren't gonna be, you're never gonna see them again, or they're not going to be, you know, the ones that you're playing against or anything like that. I mean, there is a chance that you'll play against them because when it enters the battlefield, actually it makes me not want to do it because face down spells you cast. Okay. Target discards 2 cards, reveals their hand. I mean, discarding 2 cards is pretty fucking good to do. Like, who cares about revealing the hand? He's got the Timber and card back too. Come on, we're not going to waste 10k gold without at least winning 2 of these here. This is the best obviously I could possibly do now. Let's just do that to destroy his little dinky guy here. Deals 3 damage for 2, which in itself is good. Blood Splatter counter if it has 5 or more. When you do, return target creature from graveyard to hand. Whenever it's dealt 3 or more damage. Yeah, we've been having a problem just getting minions to stick and so forth over here. But maybe we'll have enough value thanks to making him discard stuff to actually not be the one who's in top deck mode, even though he obviously is. Or I mean, I always am. A lot of ward stuff, a lot of this face down mechanic over here. Bro thinks he's literally a Yu-Gi-Oh player. When it enters the battlefield, tapped. When it's turned face up, your opponent loses 3 life, you gain 3 life. Okay, let me try to do that. Now it goes face up no matter what, right? Like even if you don't... Even if it dies, even if you block, no matter what happens, it's just going to be fine. Private information, only you can see this card. It's hidden your opponent. You may cast it face down for 3 as a 2/2 with ward 2. Turn it face up at any time for its disguise cost. But I feel like it's been getting revealed even if it's not like that. Like, even if you don't pay the cost, like my opponent last time still got to reveal it. But maybe only if it survives some combat. I'm not even sure. Because then it feels like you're doubling up the amount that you're paying for it. Why play it like this and then just to play it like that? Next turn. It's the stuff the dreams are made of, am I right? If you know, you know. Okay, additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice an artifact or discard a card, draw 2 cards. We'll just go for the minion and stuff now. Come on, let me just win one outright. Sacrifice an artifact, actually, that's fine. But it's not even a fucking artifact. What was the other one even? Destroy up. Yeah, I like that he's so scared of that, even though I didn't have the synergy because I didn't even know what I was doing with it. You need like a keyboard hotkey for end the turn or do that, so I don't always have to click it. I'm too busy always just moving my mouse around like a clown here. So a lot of what both opponents have been doing is just, or even I'm doing, is just ignore what your opponent's doing on the board and just go face. Like we're not really trying to block or do anything like that. Flying, when it's turned face up until end of turn, whenever creature you control deals damage to player, investigate. Sacrifice to draw a card. Flying, when it's turned face up, okay, I don't care. The 6/2, not bad value. 2 1/1s. This guy is doesn't seem like a very good idea. Or those dogs literally come back to bite you. Like that's almost not even worth it at all. It's like Leroy Jenkins, but he's not even good. He summons like the 2 elves, but he doesn't even have haste or anything. When it dies, each opponent loses 3 life. That's really garbage, isn't it? Actually would have been relatively favorable if they weren't fucking flying. Draw 2 cards. Discard a card. -X, which might be worth it to do. I guess it's good just to do this because it just gives you a play period, but we're still okay, and we're gonna do a certain amount or we're not. Galvanize. Deal 3. If you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn, deals 5 instead. Or is this going to be... No, that's haste. That's actually okay. It's not like I'm taking a ton of damage right now, so you should be fine. But like, again, a lot of these cards, we're seeing what they do for the first time ever. So it's not like I really know all this, but it's not too... It shouldn't be that hard to figure out what you're doing, really. So one of these is going to come back. Target creature from your graveyard. But how did some of this even end up in the graveyard? Oh, it's getting milled, obviously, all the time from that very same effect. Which is not really even worth it in the end. Okay, hurry up. He does have Menace. He only costs 3. When it enters the battlefield, investigate whenever you sacrifice a clue. But I don't have enough to still even do this one. Can't be countered. Damn it, I keep doing that. I keep forgetting how shitty that can be, where you keep giving him the 1/1 dogs. How is that even worth it in any way? That's so dumb. He's poorly statted, 6 mana, or 3 mana, 6/3. He's more afraid of the flying thing, apparently. That maybe wasn't worth it, but now we can figure something out. Go ahead and do that. Doesn't matter how expensive it is. So we're gonna lose to the flying stuff alone, though, if I don't do something about it. Oh shit, I didn't even realize. What a stupid, shitty way to die. It would have been better just to die to the fucking dogs, though, instead. Okay, whatever. Look, dude. We normally win at least 1 or 2 games. In fact, I think I won 2 in the other one. In the last one, didn't I? Or like I came maybe super close to winning 2 and I felt like I deserved to. But I mean, even winning 2 out of 3 isn't so bad. Ratio-wise, like, I don't know what more you expect. This is kind of a slow start. You gotta at least win 1 game to force a final match here, even if you end up losing overall. But I guess that only really just wastes time. Yeah, none of these matches have seemed too one-sided. In the very first game of that first match we had, it really felt like I should have won it. Yeah, please AFK out. That's going to be the best chance that I really have here. Yeah, I like how random this almost seems. Like, oh yeah, this is just to let you know that there's a murder that took place. Like, everything else about this seems pretty basic in the background. Although I do like the music behind it. doesn't have as much a sense of personality as, let's say, you know, fucking Hearthstone, the game that it copied in presentation style. Even if you could say this game copied, or Hearthstone copied Magic in a more literal sense. Oh, now he's back. Add 1 mana of any color, which is great, even just to make up for the lack of land overall. I don't get the disguise with some of these. It seems so dumb. You're casting a weapon as a disguise that makes it a 2/2 minion? Hey Stars, how's it going? Yeah, even all this stuff has to do with, you know, the whole jury and court stuff. Wait a second though, that was a different expansion for Hearthstone though. That wasn't the one. What was the one that had all the, like, all the court related things? Or was that Castle Nathria? I don't even know. I feel like that was something different. But either way, you could say they certainly took inspiration from that, which is weird to see it in reverse. I'm not even saying it to troll. I just genuinely don't know how it could be such a similar title to the fucking expansion. That's right, you are at school. It's very bad though, and because you're hot spotting. Interesting. That's how I've been playing chess lately. On my little broadcast, I have to use a hotspot because I don't have internet. So I've been recording it instead of streaming it. Not bad. How about you? Use 1, discards 2 cards. This is pretty worth it here. Destroy target creature. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact, put a +1/+1. That is really good. I mean, in the context of this sort of just random one-off draft thing, they're not going to have much of a choice. Or, you know, he might not be able to recover from that ever now. So he's already gone all in here, so if I can just survive it, I'll be fine. You could actually do this too. Or wait, what? Oh, because you don't have the right color? Or wait, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait. Shouldn't you be able to do it? I don't get it. 1, 2, 3. He's only a 4-cost card. And you only need 1 black. Something here doesn't make sense. Okay, I guess I just don't get it. You shouldn't have to disguise him. Target creature, just do this. I genuinely don't get that interaction. Normally you should have been able to do that. Wait, why couldn't he? What's going on with some of these interactions? Why couldn't he have blocked with that, for example? Oh, this guy has the menace thing, that's why. One of these I should be able to block just fine though. Everybody seems to be using this guy. What did I get done today? Just little basic work, typical stuff. Nothing special. The good old days when school was the biggest thing to worry about, even though, yeah, I don't get what the fuck happened with this. School is like the most useless thing ever half the time, because like even what people go to for college and stuff, they end up not even using for their jobs. Like you'll get a psychology degree like a clown and then not even work in the field like me. So it ends up being both a waste of time and money that way. So I have 3 health left, which is a big problem. And I might not be able to mitigate these. Am I really going to get swept out? I feel like that's almost... Oh, wow. That's almost never happened, but it could happen here. Deal 3. So he just can't necessarily get damage through to the face, but now he can't do anything about it. I'm losing in such stupid, shitty ways here. Was it fun? Not really. Like, it feels basically like a waste of time. Okay, well, best we could do is 1 and 2 over here. Can I overcome a 0-2 lead, even though it doesn't really work like that? I haven't even won, not even like one of the 2 sets of games. I haven't even won a game in either of the sets, I don't think. No, I couldn't have, yeah. I just think it's dumb. And yeah, all these clowns who want to complain about, like, oh, here we go, dude. Like, oh, their student debt is so high and this and that. It's like, on one hand, you didn't have to go to school for that. And on the second hand, you don't have to take a loan if you do go. It's like everybody always wants to play the victim with that. Like, yes, some of the lending can be predatory and expensive and all this kind of stuff. But not only do you not have to do it, but you don't even have to go in the first place. It might sound like an edgy thing to say, like, oh, haha, you're too cool for school. But realistically, I mean, it just depends on so many different circumstances. But, you know, you could go to Stanford for fuck's sake and you end up being a content creator. So I don't know how much that really helped that particular person I'm talking about. In math, we're learning y equals mc squared. Interesting. I mean, that's always fun, I guess. Math is at least arguably one of the most useful things you could learn, but in the context of stuff like that, I don't know how often you really would use it. Yeah, we did learn that. Although that might have been a lot earlier on, like in elementary school almost. I don't know, I feel like that wasn't a high level thing. No, what? Read what? Let's see. Damn, I'm about to get clowned pretty hard here. I'm totally not even throwing either. I just don't know what to do. Okay, the menace thing is going to allow you... No, it won't even allow you to do anything. And I can't deal with the flying? Or no, it's not even flying. Oh, not E equals mc squared? Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Audio died. Yeah, have you ever had that yogurt though? The Ski Divine or Ski Delight? the spoon is having a little mental orgasm over it. People seem to really love that clip. Or they keep inadvertently calling it the Ohio meme, like, oh, average spoon in Ohio, but it's literally average spoon in Australia instead. It's gone, it's back. You watched the video. I didn't know it had anything to do with Australia at first. I just saw it randomly in my suggested for some reason. Sussy spoon, they call it. Okay, that you can trade in. That'll be just fine. So now it doesn't reveal. I don't get what happens with it. Deals 2 damage to any target, which fucks me all over. And I'm in full top deck mode too. Alright, could have attacked with that. You did? I don't think it's as bad as people say. Or yeah, maybe it's the Super Bowl commercial stuff that got me in the mood for it. with how stupid those are. Tyrese Halliburton didn't like them, though. He was crying over how we've lost our way with our commercials. But yeah, like all the ridiculous random things where you can't even tell what it is that they're even trying to advertise. That's the real game. Try to guess what the ad's actually for, and half the time you have no idea. I saw a card from graveyard. Okay, I don't see what good that did me. Good attacks. Okay, finally we have at least like a decent statted minion out here, though. Audio keeps cutting out. Huh, I wonder if that's something on my end. It shouldn't be. You're watching the end of the Super Bowl in class. Yeah, I didn't even really watch it. Everybody's just mad about Taylor Swift, though. And I think it's a pretty fair thing. And then everyone on the flip side wants to act like, oh, you know, they want to be like overly defensive of her. Creature to destroy, yes. Selected creature you control. Or 2, you have enough for that as well. That's good. No longer suspected. Suspected. It's like, you know, they're showing her so much. It's like you wouldn't go to her concert and talk about the NFL the whole time or show something to do with that. So it's like, you know, people get overly defensive too. It's just like you can show her once, like at the beginning of the game, and that's it. But they keep showing her constantly, so people get pissed about it. And so a lot of people are rooting against the Chiefs just for that reason alone, or just because they were they've been so successful the last couple years that people don't want them to win for that reason too. Can't be countered to gain control creature until end of turn. That probably would be the wrong one to do because it won't die. Or rather, I have to keep everything out there because I'm gonna have to block everything, and I think I'll still die. Yeah, I'm still dead because I can't block all 4. Okay, whatever. At least I still get another chance here. Who cares about her? But that's kind of the whole thing, is that they kind of force it on you a little bit. So it's a good, like, false duality psychological thing where, like, the fact that she's there, and maybe she likes the attention or whatever, but it's arguably not even her fault. But it's like everyone acts like, oh, everyone's being so mean to her, this or that. Right, but the only reason why they're doing it is because they're shoving it in your face so much by constantly showing her and talking about her. She's all over the news. It's like, it's just too much. He's in Australia right now doing what? Probably a concert? I don't like playing them for the ward cost, but maybe that's part of the reason why I'm losing these games. Well, let's at least make an epic comeback and win both of these last 2 games. This is kind of a disappointing one that almost makes me want to do another draft during the course of this expansion. This can't be the only one that I do. Or I don't always have to do a 10k one, but this card doesn't make any sense. It's a 3-4. Oh, no. Now it does. Person of interest over here. John, played by John Caviezel or whatever. From, whatever, who played Jesus in some Count of Monte Cristo or something. Learning about nervous system and neurons. Interesting. Must be the Eras tour thing. Okay, now leave that. The fact that they have vigilance kind of fucks me over still too. Okay, you obviously wouldn't have had enough to get rid of the 4/4, or wait. I don't know what happened. You can always take advantage of the menace. That's the core way that you're even getting in damage with any of these decks, because there are just a lot of things which are giving you menace here. This is kind of depressing a little bit, though, the fact that I'm getting clowned so hard. And you can't do anything about him. Okay, finally you get to play this really overpriced piece of garbage, yeah. Very poorly statted, a disgrace to a dinosaur lover like me. And it's not like I'm not going to play dinosaurs just because that expansion is over. I always play them. Okay. Come on, we got to do the epic comeback of the ages here. But no, I think I might make a point to do another couple drafts here. As long as I don't get tempted by, like, next time or something. Don't get tempted by the stupid cosmetics. There isn't really even one that I particularly want. Even the mastery tree thing doesn't interest me this time. Oh, the flying is just going to ruin me unless I do this. No. You can do both. Like, why wouldn't you do both? One, two, three, four, five. I would like to actually play that thing, but I guess the problem is the whole menace idea that we would rather not do that. I don't know why I keep doing it just by default. You may have it become no longer suspected, just so you could block with it, but in this case you would want the buff, but you wouldn't want to do that. You want your deadly complication and you want to eat it too, like the whole, I don't know. You want your cake and you want to eat it too. There's a joke in there somewhere. Okay, see here. Okay, he's completely in top deck mode as long as he doesn't kill me right now. And you should be able to deal the 2 damage to any target to kill that one, right? Yeah. So now we're actually in good shape. Please give me a land so I can fuck. Okay, I should be able to block those 2 even if he ignores this. Right, so now you could just trade in and you'll be fine. But then again, if I don't, I'm fucking dead. So I shouldn't have took a chance with that. Or wait a second. The fact that this can't block means that I actually did... fuck. I lost to that same thing again. I got completely swept out. Not just 3-0, but actually 6-0. That's a little bit unusual. Even if I'm not drafting. That's kind of fucking lame, dude. I get 100 gems for all my trouble. But see, I almost have enough to do another one, so maybe I'll redeem myself. I don't really have a good excuse for that at all either. It was just kind of dumb. The draft wasn't good, but some of those games were still pretty close. I guess a lot of this stuff just didn't really interest me. Like, a lot of the cards weren't really that exciting. Okay, see you tomorrow.